الله نحمده ونستعينه ونستهديه ونستغفره وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسول الله. I hope you bear witness for no deity but Allah. I bear witness to Muhammad and his servant. Ameen. I apologize for being a little late. It's kind of hard to find parking space around here, so forgive me, brother. I want to start by reading in Surah 16, ayats 68 69. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. And our Lord revealed to the bee, make hives in the mountains and in the trees, and in what they build. Then eat of all the fruits, and walk in the way of your Lord submissively. There comes forth from their bellies a beverage of many hues, in which there is a healing for men. Therein is surely a sign for people who reflect. Sadaqallah Hadith, surely Allah speaks the truth. Allah asks us to reflect, to think. We have to think. Whenever we read these ayats, reflect on it. There's a lot of wisdom in those ayats. So let's look at community life using nature. Let's start with the social life of bees. Bees carry out numerous tasks, and they manage all of them with excellent organization. The beauty of these two ayats is it speaks about many signs, and that's what I want to touch on today, brothers and sisters. Now, bees, they work in teams or in groups. Bees and ants are your greatest builders. The ants are very strong. You know, Allah speaks about the ants in the Quran. They have a system set up. They send out a drone to check out something. Then you see the whole posse come out. They have soldier ants. They work together to get food. They have tunnels underneath the earth. In the 52nd ayat of Surah Ibrahim, Allah states, this is a communication to be transmitted to mankind, so that they may be warned by it, and so that they will know that He is one God, and so that people of intelligence will pay heed. Those are Allah's words. Like so, in many other ayats in the Quran, Allah emphasizes that one of the most crucial purposes of the Quran's revelation, is to invite people to ponder and to reflect. The entire universe, including ourselves, is created by a superior power. Even when you examine your own body or any other thing in nature, you will see an impressive harmony, plan, and wisdom at work within its design. If we operated like the ants and the bees, we would know how to build civilizations and colonies. If we just study them, we'll be great builders. We'll know how to work together in a civilized order and on a higher frequency. Yes, there's frequencies. We must look into that. But most of us look more at the animal kingdom and study that and take on the expression of the lower being that we shouldn't be tapping into as a representative. It's the ants and the bees that we should be tapping into, rather than us trying to be a lion or be the lion in the pack, in the street. The lion will not attack a group of zebras because they can get kicked in the head, and then they're done. The line goes for the one who's alone. So we as a people have to move together in groups. You don't want to go solo out there by yourself. The most powerful beings on the planet work together in groups. It's called Harambe in Swahili. They pull together in teams. It's not about you and me as separatists. It's about coming together, maybe creating our own society from everyone else, and that would be powerful. We have to do and come together. We have to be creators. Yeah, we're the little creators, okay? We as a people always have to go to other societies for our needs. No, we shouldn't have to do that. Going to everybody else for everything we need. And we have them come together, like the ants and the bees, to build our own communities so we can rely on ourselves. We have to build our own. We have to pull together in teams. Some of us want to be dogs and lions. But that's not going to work. We have to stop being like animals and be more like insects. Insects know how to work together. Animals are always fighting and killing each other. Okay, not always, but a lot. If you study the ant or the bee, you're studying two of the most intelligent beings on the earth. This is science. Listen up. Let's look at this. We as a people are suffering from colony collapse disorder. Take the queen bee, for example. When you take the female, the queen bee, and disrupt her natural flow, everybody and everything in her colony collapses. So how does the bee operate? Bees are very intelligent. You know that the sound, check this out, the sound that the bees put out repairs your DNA in your body. That buzzing sound repairs your DNA in your body. They put out a note called a C528, which repairs the DNA. This is science. Allah put that in them. The bees have an order. Let's look again at the queen bee. That's how the queen bee operates. She says to the other bees, look, I need y'all to go out there and get some pollen from this farm that's like 5 miles away. There's some petunias out there, okay? Go get that pollen and bring it back to me. Bees, they do a dance. You ever see the bees, they buzzing all around? That dance is a map that they draw on for the other bees to let them know where to go get this pollen, okay? You think they're just buzzing? No, they're drawing up a map. This is science, okay? So they do the dance. So the bees, they're going to do exactly what the queen bee says. Except, as always, one or two. One or two in the group, okay? One of them might say, man, I ain't going over there. There's some dandelions right here in the front yard. I'm going to get that and bring that pollen back. So the bee comes back to the hive, and the queen, she can smell. She can smell that pollen. She can feel it. And she says to the others, go get him and bring his behind right here. And he's like, what? And he's pleading, please, please. And she stings him to death, eats him and feeds some to the babies. She said, don't you ever bring something other than what I told you to get. Well, it's the same pollen. It's not. She knows the season. She knows the season. She knows the way the wind is blowing. She knows things about the cosmos. When the energy from the stars has been traveling for billions of years, some of those stars aren't even there. But she knows when the star Sirius rises and when Sirius falls. Those positions. And if you think the sky is the same sky, you be out of your mind. It's not the same sky. But Allah speaks about that star called Sirius. Look it up in the Quran. Okay? There's some science behind that. So everything is changing. So you have to be ready to change in the moment. The queen, she's able to really realize what's happening in the moment. Just not an ego thing. We need order. Yes, we need order, brothers and sisters. What we need right now in our communities is organization. We need to follow universal law Allah put in place. Okay? And me and Rahman, for some years, started an organization. We're trying to build community life. We need that. Trying to bring people together so we can build community. We don't have community life. We got neighborhoods. And the neighbors out the hood. So we got hoods, okay? So we need community life where we have our own businesses, our own hospitals, our own everything. We don't have to depend on no one else. If you look at the ancient villages, the way they were set up, a lot of them were set up in what they call spirals. There's a lot of science to spirals. I mean, don't get into all that. But they were sacred geometry. If you looked at them from the sky, you just didn't build a hut here just because you wanted to build a hut. You had to look at the ley line, the energetic field, the magnetic flux of the planet. We had to look at the stars. You're looking at everything because everything. So now, this is where your hut should be. This is where you should be. This is where the fire should be. This is where we should plant. We had to be so far from the river. All this was calculated for our colony. It was organization. I'm telling you, brothers, we got to be organized. We got to come together. You know, your body's organized. You got organs. That's organization. They work together. Everything working in harmony. Okay? So we have to be organized. These people read the signs in creation. And when you go against the signs, you have colony collapse. Didn't the Europeans colonize Africa? And look what happened. They collapsed. So let's say it's colony collapse disorder. Now, let's say what we've been for the last 6,000 years. We've been like what they call the nymph. Now, here's another one. Y'all probably saying, what the heck is a nymph? Okay? This is also science. The nymph lives in the water. Listen carefully. The nymph is a victim. But the nymph is eating everything. The nymph is actually the larvae of the dragonfly. For years and years, it's fighting. It's scared. And it's in fear. It's going through drama and emotion. They never breathe because they don't have lungs. And just exist in the dark, murky water. Then one day they imagine themselves inside, they turn off. The imaginable self that has been sitting around. The genes, they begin to move around. They look like little ships. When they begin to move, all of a sudden, the nymph crawls up a reed, and for the first time, its body splits open, and it takes its first breath. Then its eyes pop out. Then its wings, which are all crumpled up, they start to unfold. But it's got to move quick, because all kinds of things want to get to this little nymph that's sitting on the reed. Now, the water that it lived in represents the emotions, all the drama, all the trauma, all the growth, all the stuff it's been through down there in the water. It now has water in its body. It uses the water from its experience, and it pumps like hydraulic pumps through its wings, and the wings are full of the drama from the past. Then all of a sudden, the sun hits them, and the sun turns that water into electricity. And then the dragonfly lifts off. And it lives an amazing life of love and beauty. The dragonfly only lives about 2 weeks. But check this out. Under the water, it lives about 2 years. So now, all it needs to do is send off a vibration. Everything's vibrations and frequencies now. Or wave that opens the flowers in the morning. The flowers are listening for certain tones from different animals. Things like the bees and certain bird sounds. Opens the flowers, which brings out the pollen. That's what they do. Just like the 21st of March, all of a sudden, all the pine trees in the northern hemisphere pop open, and the male pine flowers put out the semen of the forest and pine pollen. So these vibrations, they affect the flowers, open them up, bring out the beauty, okay? You just think these bees and dragonflies just flying around, just get out of my way, No, they have a purpose. Everything in Allah's creation has a purpose. Allah didn't create something just for nothing. Everything has a purpose. That yellow pollen feeds everything. It has all the nutrients, and the whole forest eats that. And that's what gives its drive. But when you realize that everything is a perfect ecosystem, even our craziness at this time is part of the even flow, the up and down, the growth and decline. It always happens. It depends on your mindset. Once you get that, you say, I'm going to do my very best. I'm not going to follow the crowd. I'm going to elevate myself and show my beauty just like the dragonfly. I'm going to fly above the nonsense and send the right vibrations to humanity to help bring out its beauty. Send the right vibrations so humanity can open up and give the best of itself. The best of itself. That's what we have to do. We have to elevate ourselves to bring out the best of humanity, brothers. It's very important. So we have to move together in group, build strong colonies, communities, where we won't have colony collapse. We will have order and organization, working together like the bees and ants, steady building. Again, Allah put signs, ayats, all over creation for you to reflect and to think. Read in the name of your Lord. The creation is an open book. That's your library. That's the real library. The creation. Study everything in creation. You'll learn more than you will in these colleges. Believe me. If you think you're learning something there, creation has everything for you to learn. So before I close this part with the khutbah, let me show you how Allah puts signs even in ourselves. In ourselves. We all know there's an outer space, right? Well, let's look at inner space. If I take a cancer cell out of a human and put it under a high-powered microscope and bring up the magnification, then all of a sudden you get to this place where the cancer is gone. And if you keep bringing up the magnification, all of a sudden the parts of the cell will be gone. Then all of a sudden you will see the Big Dipper, you will see the star Sirius, you will see Orion's belt, as above, so below. What is inside those cells, at the smallest level, is everything. It's the same. You will see the same universe up in space, in your body, from that cell. Alhamdulillah. Let's hope you got something out of that. And pause and ask Allah to guide us to be better Muslims, to study hard, study His Quran, so that we may build our community life. In conclusion, brother and sister, this is Black History Month. I just want to read something to you about 3 African Muslims. These are short. These were brothers who were enslaved here in America. The first one is Omar Ibn Said, West African Muslim scholar, enslaved in America, born in affluence in 1770 in Fouta Toro, West Africa, in Senegal. Omar Ibn Said, a full Islamic scholar, dedicated 25 years studying various subjects under prominent Muslim scholars, encompassing mathematics, astronomy, business, and theology. In 1807, he faced capture, enslavement, and transportation to the United States. Although he successfully escaped a harsh master in Charleston, South Carolina, he was recaptured in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and sold to a new owner. Said penned 14 manuscripts in Arabic during his lifetime. With his autobiography, A Muslim American Slave, The Life of Omar Ibn Said, being the most renowned. This unique document stands as one of the few enslaved narratives not written or dictated to a white person or enslaver, recognized as Uncle Moreau and Prince Omar. Omar Ibn Said remained enslaved until he died in his mid-90s in 1864 in Bladen County, North Carolina. The next brother, got 2 more here, we'll be done. Yado Mahmoud, Arabic fluency and successful entrepreneur. Yado Mahmoud was an African-American Muslim who lived in the United States during the 18th and 19th centuries. Born in Guinea in West Africa in the 1730s, Mahmoud was enslaved and brought to America. Over time, he gained his freedom and became a successful entrepreneur and property owner in Georgetown, Washington, D.C. He later became one of the first shareholders of the second chartered bank in America. Check that out. The Columbia Bank. Yaddle may have lived to be more than 128 years old, the oldest person in American history. Yaddle Mahmoud's life is notable for his achievements as a free African American in a time of widespread slavery and discrimination. He was known for his literacy, fluency in Arabic, and his practice of the Islamic faith. When he was 100 years old, Mahmoud's portrait was painted by Charles Wilson Peale in 1819. It is one of the earliest known portraits of a Muslim individual in the United States. The painting displayed at the Peale Museum in Baltimore. A second portrait completed by James Simpson in 1828, almost a decade later, can be seen at the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery, Peabody Room, which is on loan from the District of Columbia's library, Peabody Room, Georgetown branch. And lastly, some of you may have heard this brother, Mustafa Zamori, known as Estebaniko, early African and Muslim explorer in North America. Mustafa Zamori Estebaniko was a North African explorer who played a significant role in the exploration of the southwestern regions of North America in the 16th century. Born around 1500 in Azamor, Morocco, Estebaniko was enslaved and sold to a Portuguese nobleman. While enslaved in 1527, he accompanied the Spanish expedition to explore and colonize Florida. The expedition faced numerous hardships, and after shipwrecks and other difficulties, Estebaniko and a few others were left stranded on the Gulf Coast. Estebaniko's survival skills and ability to communicate with indigenous people made him a valuable asset. Estebaniko, along with other survivors, embarked on an epic journey westward, becoming one of the first Africans and Muslims to explore parts of the American Southwest. It is believed he is believed to have traveled through present-day Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and possibly California. Those are just three. There's many more, okay? But those three, I found this article, I had to read it. You know, we have to know our history. African history goes back a long time. Not just here in America. African history is so old, you can't even count the years. I just found out that the geologists found out that the Sphinx in Africa, that they tell is only 6,000 years old, geologists found out that it is, believe it or not, 200,000 years old. That's going way back. Way back. I think it's more than that. That's old. So, no, I'm sorry, it's 800,000 years old. So, there was a civilization out there that was building these things. Okay? They had technology. So don't think, you know, you started here. You gotta go away, you gotta study your history. You gotta teach your children African American history. You got to teach them African history. Oh, everybody should know it. It's a rich history. I'm telling you. Get books. You better get them while you can. Who knows what this Trumpy Dumpty might do after a while. He might ban books. Who knows? But I'm just saying, buy books, study them, read them, and Allah will bless you. Okay? And your family. I حسنة في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. All I do is excellence in this world, excellence in the world to come. Save us from the fires of sin and save us from the hellfire. Amen.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salah, hayya ala falah. Qad qamat as-salah, qad qamat as-salah.